wanted to kind of double back to this statement that you don't have to search, all you have to do is have your eyes open, and the importance of passivity, which is really the importance of just flowing, not needing something too much. Because of course, when we chase after something, or we need the evidence to show up in order to tell me what to do, or in order to be the next guidepost, then we actually end up repelling it, because the energy of needing something that much is hard. And when it's hard, it's usually lower, it's denser. And so how do you think passivity, and also making a wish, if you will, and then letting it go in order for the universe or for the field to do what it will with it. What do you have to say about that? And also after that, let's talk a little bit about the idea of thy will be done, because we have these human ideas for ourselves when we want to design our lives, but there's the higher order of it all, and how can we manifest in alignment with that? But starting first, of course, with the passivity or the flow, and how that relates to magic.
Yes, and there is a distinction between being passive and complacent. And complacent would be, you snapping on that? Complacent would be avoiding activating your essence and avoiding doing your work. And sitting back and, like I've heard Marianne Williamson say recently, that if you have a suspicion that you're wasting your life, then you probably are. And so there is, but there's no harm in that. The second that you align with love over that, and there's any one of us in any time of our life, we waste, if we want to call it that. We can't really truly waste, because then when we align with love again, it corrects the timeline in the past.
Right.
So you know, we're always able to be saved, if you want to call it, but we're always able to align. So yes, there is a distinction between complacency and passivity. Passivity really is allowing, like
allowance, right?
Allowance, yeah. If you can imagine the seed being carried along in the wind to fall exactly where it should, where it is best served. And again, if we think of nature being perfectly aligned with the divine, and there is no judgment and there is no questioning even, that it all just falls where it should. And so how we get into that space of passivity is we do want to do that inner work. We want to look at our stuff. We want to look at our intention. We want to honor it and say that my intention is aligned, therefore it must unfold. And we can charge up that intention with details of it. So it could be that, you know, I want a job that makes me feel really able to express myself and to be able to have enough income. And it may be that I kind of like cars, and so I'm going to pick out a car because that'll help me to tune my frequency up to a job that brings in this much abundance. But we let go of all of it, and we allow ourselves to be carried along the wind, because we aren't capable of knowing from our limited first person view where the wind will allow us to fall. We can't know.
If I can stop you there. So there's a moment of specificity, though. There's a moment where we identify we desire this new job or this new level in our job. And there's also some specificity around a car, which would be indicative of that level.
Thank you for bringing that up. I have a close friend, and he told me, as we were talking about magic, we were literally talking about this 2-day workshop I'm doing. And he was saying, you know, I realized recently that I'm always asking for abundance, but I'm not placing a specific order about what kind of abundance. And I said to him, yeah, look at your life. You are abundant. You have any meal that you ever want. Your children are fed. You have a beautiful home, you know, but he isn't being specific about it. So he's getting a general unfoldment.
Right.
And that's actually, if we stay too general, what we're really doing is being complacent. We're not getting into our own work and saying, what is it do I want specifically? And so there's a difference between conditions and cleaning up and honing the frequency. So the conditions, like the car, can help us to hone the frequency, but the frequency is something that will be then connecting to the field, and the details will come and the conditions will come secondary to the process. We start with the general feeling, and then we get down into the specifics of the feelings, and the feelings will manifest into thought forms, and so that could be a car. But we want to release the conditions. We don't want to become fixated on those. But see, when we get to the other side of releasing those conditions, we're in a cleaner frequency, so a more specific frequency, but with without the conditions.
Yes. Yes. I've heard you speak a few times about manifestation being like being at a restaurant and, you know, you order off the menu and you give the order to your waiter and then something has to take place. You know, the waiter has to go back to the kitchen, has to give the order, the chef has to prepare the food, and then the waiter has to go back. So there's a whole process entailed in actually manifesting your meal. I think where people tend to get caught up with manifestation and magic would be the delay that happens after we put in our universal order and we're somewhat specific while allowing at the same time, and the time that passes before they actually get what they're asking for. And sometimes what they get is not necessarily what they asked for, but it's probably exactly what they need. So what do you have to say about that delay in manifestation? And is there a way for us to quicken that delay?
There is a way to quicken the delay. However, you may not realize that you've quickened the delay until it actually happens, because there is still a coalescence. There is still, I mean, there are still seasons, right? You plant a seed. It's not in the fall. It's not going to bloom until late spring, because that's when it is needed. That's one way to look at it, is that what is relevant for you is always unfolding. If you have honed your frequency in a way that is aligned really well with your soul to the universe, or with the will of God or the will of the field, then what is relevant to you, it may seem to come quicker because you've given a cleaner frequency. But what comes to you, if your frequency, if you haven't done the work in that specific way, then it's still going to be relevant, because if there's a challenge or a stumbling block, it's going to turn you back into yourself. So yeah, the more inner work that we're doing to manifest our intention out to an attention that is aligned, then the delay will sort of be shorter, but it will still come in the season that is appropriate.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if we're trying to magically manifest, but we have some inner stuff going on, we've got signals that are happening due to patterns, due to beliefs, due to conditions that we're finding ourselves in that might not be in the highest alignment, that may be, or that is what causes the delay in the manifestation. So as we do the inner work and as we align to our higher selves or to light or to whatever, however you want to phrase that, as we clean that stuff up, then the manifestation quickens just based on that alone, because we're in that more dynamic alignment.
Yes. However, again, there is still a timing that is perfect for absolutely everything.
Right.
And so that is where we come back to that idea of forcing your will. So if you then start to force your will because you want it now, then you're going to get corrected. A good example is, let's say if you were on a committee at work, at your job, and you sort of started hoarding the work and, you know, kind of pushing your vision forward faster without actually cooperating with your colleagues, they're going to start, you know, descending. You know, they're going to start being like, what is she doing? You know what I mean? And essentially you'll get corrected, because they will no longer be working with you, and you will be delayed in whatever your vision is. But you may have a really clear, you're very excited about your vision for this thing, but you need all of your colleagues to get in alignment with it and to actually contribute their parts. You need their skills too. You need their contribution, but you have this excitement about it. You're going to get corrected, and either the committee will fall apart and then the vision can't be done right now, or you have to slow down and it all brings us back to presence, doesn't it?
Yes. Every
time we come into presence and we say everything is as it is and I have everything that I need, that's actually like a time warp. We actually go through, I think we go through wormholes. Yeah. When we become present, that's how we shift.
That's how we do it. We go through it. Well, see, what you're talking about though, is you're talking about the highest version of magic. This is thy will be done magic. This is thy will be done manifestation in alignment to our highest good, and knowing the difference, because the reality is that there are magicians out there that are dark arts magicians. And I think about, for example, Aleister Crowley. I was reading, I think, a book by Colin Wilson. It's probably The Occult. Don't hold me to that. But he was talking about Crowley and how Crowley would impress upon people all the time. He had just this strong, powerful consciousness and mind. And there's a story about Crowley walking about 10 feet behind somebody down a sidewalk in England, and he impressed upon the person, just this rando person in front of him, to trip. and within a few seconds the person tripped and fell and he just laughed and kept on walking. So that kind of magic is obviously not for the highest good. That is manipulative magic, and that's a magic that is also very powerful. Mm-hmm. So
again, we have free will. We can do it. You don't.
Why would the field support that?
Well, because free will. And see, but here's the deal about the dark magic is that it's not sustainable. So we can do all, I mean, I could right now go out and cheat on my husband. I'm capable of doing that, but my heart will be broken in the process. It definitely will. And so it isn't a sustainable practice for me to continue to do something like that. So it's not really any different than any other kind of behavior that we can. If we do do something that is unified and also healthy for ourselves, then that's sustainable and it's going to benefit us. It's on a different level. So the field supports it because we have free will.
Right, and the field never judges, the field just responds.
Exactly. Right. What the kind of magic manifesting that we're talking about, magic is really living a magical life in every moment.
Yes.
So the reason that we want something, we want a manifestation, is because we believe that we will feel better by having it. So then let's just feel better now. You know, if I want a job or I want a partner because I will feel loved and I will feel free and I will feel supported and I will feel safe. So then if we could feel all of those things right now without the condition of the relationship or the job, then we've won. That's it. But Marianne Williamson was talking about how, like, let's say you had a breakup, a devastating breakup. She said, pray for that person for 30 days. May he be blessed. May he be happy. May he be loved. If you do that for 30 days, feeling that by the end of the 30 days, either he will be blessed, happy, and loved, or you just won't care. The point is you yourself will be blessed, happy, and loved. Right. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing that kind of magic on ourselves. That's really the end game. And so we're going to bring the end game to the now.